And back here in Denver, almost a balmy 67 degrees and the usual full house, 311th consecutive sellout. Let's take a look at the Buccaneers' history. 1-3 start. They only average 21 a game, but look what they've done in the last 7. 33 points a game. That was John talking about their ability to strike. And they have won 5 of their last 7 under Greg Schiano in his first year.
And Dick, the Denver Broncos, they've won 6 straight, going for their 7th. They began the season with an extremely tough schedule. They went 2-3, 6-0 since, allowing 18 points a game, a +3 turnover margin. This team's playing really good football.
So we're set to go. The Broncos have won the toss and will defer. Here's what's in reach for the Broncos. They can win the division. Manning with 9 completions will pass Dan Marino for second all-time behind Brett Favre, and with 2 touchdown passes his boss John Elway's single-season record.
You allowed to do that? Pass your boss?
I think in this case he welcomes it, as we saw in your pregame insert. Great interview with Peyton Manning and John Elway and John Fox in what Peyton has meant to this franchise. So Laquan Lewis is back deep and Matt Prater will kick off. And keep in mind that both of these kickers are 1-2 in the NFL in touchbacks. Of course, the altitude has something to do with the Denver kick, and lo and behold, this one could have been run out by Lewis, and he doesn't. And so the Buccaneers, with Josh Freeman against the AFC, 7 touchdowns, 1 interception, 3-0 record, but this will be his toughest test against the AFC West, and he has really rebounded from last year's slump.
He has, and he started the year a little bit slow, didn't look extremely confident. Josh Freeman right now is playing with tremendous confidence. You'll see one of the best arms in the National Football League. Young man's playing really well.
Crowd knows it's football. They'll be loud when the Bucs have the ball. 1st and 10 at the 20. Play action, throwing on the first play of the game, and the pass is complete to Williams. And he gets 5 yards on the first play of the game. Well, the Tampa Bay offense and its attack that has served them well this season with those impact players.
And you see the 28 points per game. Their formula is pretty simple. They've got an excellent rookie running back in Doug Martin, and then they like to take it up top. When they throw, they're going to get their money's worth with Vincent Jackson and Mike Williams on the outside.
And this is a team that's 4th in scoring in the league, and Jackson, of course, played against Denver many times while a member of the San Diego Chargers. 2nd down and 5, and there's the pitch to Doug Martin, and the rookie gets hit and will be short of the first down by about 3 yards thanks to Von Miller. 3-yard pickup, and we talk about the impact of Peyton Manning, and you mentioned how the defense has been a force as well.
Well, they got a couple special players, Von Miller and Champ Bailey, and then Wesley Woodyard, the really surprise of this season, having an outstanding year in the middle at linebacker, 37 sacks. It leads the NFL.
And there you see Von Miller in action on the second play. So it'll be 3rd down and 2. And this time they go to Martin, cutting upfield, and Martin's going to be stopped short of the first down. May have picked up a yard, and it was Kevin Vickerson, the defensive tackle, who makes the stop. So it's 3 and out for the Buccaneers on their first possession.
And it's obviously so critical when you're the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to convert those 3rd down, particularly when you're in a 3rd and 2 situation, because when you convert, you keep 18. Peyton Manning on the sidelines. Great stop by the Broncos defense right off the bat.
Michael Kanan will punt, and Trindon Holiday, spectacular kick returner, who has returned a kickoff and a punt for touchdowns since joining Denver from Houston, will field this on the 18. Here's Holiday, and he is knocked out of bounds at the 34-yard line. So Peyton Manning going to work for the first time in the game. 4-1 at home, and look at that ratio: 13 touchdowns, only 1 interception.
It's really incredible what he's done. He'll tell you he's not the same quarterback he was. He's reinvented himself, and as I said in the open, playing at an MVP level.
From the 35, good field position on first down, and Manning's pass is complete, and an 8-yard pickup to Demaryius Thomas. Denver offense, explosive plays, a major part of being the third highest scoring team.
And no Sean Moreno filling in for McGahee, but those two guys on the outside, Demaryius Thomas and Eric Decker, more explosive plays than anybody in the National Football League.
Going to the air on 2nd and 2. It's going to be a first down catch to Jacob Tamme, former Colt. And E.J. Biggers making the tackle, and the Bucs have been vulnerable to the big plays. And those aren't household names until you get to number 3 there.
And you see 51 passes of 20 plus. The Broncos are explosive. The Buccaneers have allowed explosive plays. Those corners have to stand up.
6-yard pickup, and the first running play, no, it's going to be play action again. And Manning's pass overthrown, intended for Decker, but a flag goes down. And the first penalty of the game.
Prior to the pass, illegal contact, defense number 29. 5-yard penalty.
So the rookie cornerback, Leonard Johnson. Biggers and Johnson were not the starting corners, of course, when the Bucs started the year, and that could be an issue today.
And here you go. After 5 yards, you cannot have contact down the field. He gets that right hand around Decker's right shoulder. Leonard Johnson has been beaten the last couple of weeks. Julio Jones last week on an 80-yarder. You start getting grabby when you're nervous on the corner.
So now a first down on the 46 of the Bucs. And Moreno will lose a yard as he slips on the first play of the game. So no Sean Moreno in his second start. 85 yards and 4 catches last week against Kansas City. And you can see the hurry-up offense run by Peyton Manning, 2nd and 11. Manning free underneath to Tamme, the tight end, with his second catch. Will leave him about a yard and a half shy of the first down, with Levante David, the rookie, having a big year at weak side backer, making the stop.
And you see Greg Schiano nervous about those corners outside, so playing some cover 2, giving safety help, and that leaves the middle of the field. And Peyton Manning says, I'll be glad to take 8 positive yards, and throws it to his old teammate in Indianapolis, Jacob Tamme.
And we have seen Rondé Barber as a nickel corner in this game, as you thought that they might do. 3rd down and 1. And here is Manning going underneath again, complete to Eric Decker, and a first down to the 25-yard line. So Manning not afraid to go deep, happy to go short, and a gain of 12.
And this is what makes him so effective. It's the accuracy. Can you hit Eric Decker, of course, but hit him while he's running, and it turns into big yards. Peyton Manning has always been one of the most accurate throwers in the National Football League, and still remains the same.
And a first down at the 25. This drive started at the Denver 35. Quick toss, and going for Thomas, covered by Biggers, as Manning going for the touchdown on that throw will bring up 2nd and 10. Veteran Brandon Stokely inactive today with a hip injury, so Matthew Willis and Andre Caldwell will see more action, and Willis, number 12, is in there now. Moreno, and he picks up about a yard and a half. Gerald McCoy making the tackle. Tampa Bay Buccaneers #1 against the rush in the NFL, 32 against the pass.
Yeah, and it's a little bit of give and take. They're #1 against the rush because they sell out to stop it. When you do that, you leave your corners exposed. So it's going to be that cat and mouse game. Are you going to help your corners out? If so, the Broncos will try to run. If not, you're leaving your corners out against Peyton Manning.
And once again, Rondé Barber is the nickel corner on this play. It's the 8th play of the drive. And here's Manning. And this pass incomplete, and Barber on the coverage of Willis, and the crowd looking for a flag, and they get one.
Pass interference, defense number 20. Automatic first down.
And it is against Rondé Barber, automatic first down. Terry McCauley is the referee in today's game.
Now Rondé, this is where he's made his name. Inside at the slot at the nickel position. He gets there a little early on Matthew Willis. That's a play an old vet like Rondé Barber usually gets from those referees, but they decide to call it right there.
Barber at 37, switching from corner to safety this year in a sensational career. First down at the 18, and a flag is thrown.
Defense, 12 men on the field.
And too many men on the field for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
First down.
So a 5-yard penalty, and the Broncos have had the ball since the start of this game, marching downfield. Penalty is against Ahmad Black, who couldn't get off the field in time. First and 5 now at the 13. Manning to the outside, and unable to hold on to it is Joel Dreesen. So it'll be second down and 5, and the Broncos threatening here.
When we visited with Peyton Manning on Friday at their facility, one of his keys to the game was touchdowns in the red zone, not kicking field goals. He feels like the Buccaneers, although they've been very good, are susceptible to the run down here. They sell out to stop the pass inside the red zone.
Second and 5. Here is Moreno. Moreno gets the first down to the 5-yard line, and Moreno is tackled near the 1. And a gain of 12 yards. And the Broncos running in the red zone effectively.
Well, there's what Peyton Manning said. If they're going to give us the run, we're going to take it. And Noshawn Moreno, who filled in admirably for Willis McGahee last week, he runs hard and he finishes violently, as he has always done in his career.
And you could see exactly what they were doing there. They were looking for the pass. Mitch Unrein is an extra lineman for blocking. First and goal at the 1. Play action from Manning. He tosses it, and a touchdown to Unrein. Mitch Unrein coming in as an extra lineman. He can block as a fullback. He went out there eligible to catch the pass, and the Broncos score.
You see Unrein lined up at the fullback spot. You're thinking run on defense. That's exactly what Levante David was thinking. They really aren't going to throw to a nose tackle. Not so fast they are. And Mitch Unrein, what do you think he's going to do with that ball? A touchdown pass from Peyton Manning. He'll frame that thing. He'll paint it up. Big thrill for the young kid, a second-year player out of Wyoming.
And Matt Prater adding the 7th point. A very impressive opening drive for Peyton Manning and the Broncos. And they go 65 yards in 10 plays, and Unrein with his first catch, and his first touchdown of the career.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
And this is what the Broncos and Peyton Manning call debriefing. They had a group of former military, Navy SEALs and fighter pilots come speak to him earlier this year. And the takeaway, Peyton Manning says, was on the sidelines. First thing we do, we come off and everyone says, here's what I saw. They feel like it's really helped them. It worked on that first drive.
And this kick goes out of the end zone, and so the Buccaneers get the ball first. The Broncos defense held, and the Denver Broncos held by 3 defensive penalties by Tampa Bay, 2 for first downs, and the Broncos take the lead.
Game is sponsored by Bud Light, the official beer of NFL fans. Here we go.
Rondé Barber looking at the pictures of the first series for the Broncos offense. Meanwhile, the Buccaneers from the 20 trailing 7-0. 3 and out their first time with the ball. Here is Doug Martin, and Martin picks up 5 yards on first down. Flag is down, and a face mask call is the preliminary signal.
Personal foul, grasping face mask, defense number 97. 15-yard penalty, first down.
So 15 yards are tacked on to the face mask call against Justin Bannon. John Fox, who had Tim Tebow last year. They won 6 in a row, then dropped their last 3, but held on to win the AFC West. And they're riding a 6-game winning streak today. and looking to go 9-3.
John Fox having more fun, I think, than he's ever had in his life. He said it's incredible how much smarter I became when Peyton Manning became a member of the Denver Broncos.
First down, the ball now at the 40. Freeman has time, and he can't get it to Vincent Jackson, who's covered by the veteran Champ Bailey. That's a great matchup between an outstanding receiver and the 34-year-old All-Pro Bailey.
That's what I explained in the open. When they throw the football, they throw it down the field. That's their mentality. Greg Schiano says if we're going to throw it, we're going to get our money's worth. Look to see a lot more of that throughout the course of this game.
That's really the difference in the Bucs from previous years, including when you played. They're scoring points now.
You think? I wish they had him when I was there.
You'd have more rings. 2nd and 10, pressure on Freeman, and here's Doug Martin off the screen. Martin following blockers effectively inside the 40-yard line of Denver and out of bounds. Doug Martin, phenomenal season both as a rusher and as a receiver, and a good block by Jeremy Zutah, the left guard.
Well, when you face a pass rush that is lethal like the Broncos, a great way to handle it, to slow it down, is to screen pass. You invite him up the field, and then you sneak Doug Martin out, and then this young man with the ball in his hands, he can do some special things.
Juking his way to 26 yards, and the Buccaneers have a first down on the 34 of Denver. And here is Martin as the runner. And here is Doug Martin, and he's close to another first down, just about a half a yard shy. And it was Keith Brooking, the veteran, who's been well-traveled, former Cowboy here.
He's going to run behind his left. Jeremy Zutah clears the way. Donald Penn blocking down the field. And again, you give Doug Martin a little bit of space, he's going to make positive things happen. I think if there's a blueprint for beating the Broncos, you think about the strength of this defense. It's on the edges, right up the middle. Not saying it's a weakness, but a little susceptible. Kansas City exposed it, and the Bucs are going after it.
2nd down and 1. Play action. It is Freeman going the opposite way, and the pass is caught. First down to Luke Stocker, the second tight end on the team, and Stocker picks up 11 yards. And you mentioned the Buccaneers have the ability to come back and get points after they give up scores.
You gotta like this, a misdirection type play. You're gonna see Stocker here look like he's gonna block down, then come across the line of scrimmage as Freeman's rolling to his right. When you have aggressive defense, a lot of misdirection. Mike Sullivan told us that'd be a big part of their game plan.
Tampa Bay first down on the 14. Martin looking for running room and won't get it. And good pursuit that time by Mike Adams, the strong safety. And Martin will lose a yard, bringing up 2nd and 11.
I think, Dick, the impressive thing about this young man, even losing a yard, it looks pretty because he doesn't go down nearly ever on the first hit. He's a smaller back. He's muscled up. He's about 220 pounds. And those are the guys that when I played gave me the hardest time. You can't see them, and then when you hit them, it's like a pinball. They bounce right off you.
He is sturdy. Only 50 yards against the Falcons last week. 3rd in the league in red zone offense. 2nd and 11 at the 15. Freeman out of the shotgun, and the pass is deflected incomplete. And trying to go inside, it was Tyquan Underwood, the intended receiver, off his hands. Now it's 3rd and 11. So a big third down for the Buccaneers, who look a lot better in their second possession after going 3 and out and then seeing the Broncos score.
Got a third down like this on the road. You want to attack, but you also have to be smart. In the red zone, tighter windows. This is an area where they like to put Vincent Jackson in the slot. Get him on linebackers and safeties as opposed to corners.
They got DJ Ware in the backfield. Good receiver out of the backfield as well. Freeman's pass, and it's caught by Williams, but Williams is going to be knocked back. Still about 8 yards shy of the first down, and it's Chris Harris. So good job by the Broncos secondary. Only a 2-yard gain, and Tampa Bay will have to settle for a field goal try.
Really nice tackle by Chris Harris. This guy's a free agent out of Kansas last year. A solid tackler. Really reminds me a lot of Rondé Barber. Doesn't quite have the ball skills, but in terms of his tackling, his nose for the ball, good young football player for the Denver Broncos.
Here's Connor Barth. Missed a potential winning field goal from 56 last week against Atlanta. This will be a 31-yard attempt. And Barth's kick is good, and the Buccaneers get points. Don't get the touchdown that they obviously wanted. Greg Schiano, though, pleased as his team now trails Denver 7-3. Field goal by Connor Barth, putting Tampa Bay on the board. 9 plays, 66 yards. And now Michael Kanan will be kicking off, and the dangerous Trindon Holiday back into the end zone. And the Broncos will take it out on the 20. Peyton Manning will lead the Broncos after leading an impressive 65-yard touchdown drive in Denver's first possession of the game.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by the all-new Ford Fusion. Go further. By This Is 40, the sort of sequel to Knocked Up, in theaters this Christmas. And by Sprint.
Pre-game activities here in Denver. We're in the game now. The Broncos lead 7-3 after scoring on their first possession, starting from the 20. Manning is 5 for 7 for 37 yards. 1-yard touchdown toss. Fake to throw and flag down on the screen pass to Moreno, and Moreno is tackled behind the line of scrimmage by a yard. Levante David making the tackle.
Offense number 74. Half the distance to the goal.
Orlando Franklin
First down.
with a face mask call, and it'll be half the distance. Well, we talked about the debriefing John mentioned with the Broncos. For more on that, let's go down to the third member of our team, Jennifer Hale.
Yeah, Dick, Peyton Manning's message to his offense was that touchdown was a credit of playing fast. Do not let off the gas. There's a lot of football left to play.
Advancing in the modern day technology in the way of doing things. First down and 20, ball back at the 10. Here is Moreno on the handoff, getting some yardage and getting some of that lost yardage back, bringing it out to the 15. Ahmad Black from the secondary making the tackle after a pickup of 5.
On that debriefing issue, Peyton said the goal of it, now they meet on Thursdays, they watch practice, they watch the upcoming opponent, then they meet after the game on Mondays, and the goal is to come out, it's only players, to come out encouraged about the way they're playing, share information, and it's really working for this offense.
Anything to help. Second down and 15, the pass up the middle, and it is caught by Jacob Tammy. For game break, here's Patrick O'Neill.
All right, Dick, thanks a lot. What a comeback for the Indianapolis Colts. Andrew Luck, 4th and 10 from the 14. It's Donnie Avery for the touchdown and the game winner. Colts, Chuck Strong are 8-4. Tough loss for Detroit. Back to Dick and John.
Well, what a charmed life the Colts have led. First with Peyton Manning, and now with Andrew Luck. And a big win in Detroit. Now 3rd down and 6 for the Broncos. And the ball getting away from Manning. And Manning looking for time, and the pass downfield is deflected. So the snap, and Peyton Manning really upset with the failure to execute on that play.
And this is the most simple part of football, the quarterback center exchange. Dan Copen, a free agent acquisition, rolls it back there. Peyton tries to find something, but good coverage by the Tampa Bay Buccaneer secondary.
So now it'll be 4th down, and Britton Colquitt, second in the league in net punting, will be kicking away to Roscoe Parrish. And Parrish will let it fly out of bounds. right around the 30-yard line. Peyton Manning, a perfectionist. That wasn't perfect. Debriefing number 2 for the Denver Broncos.
I can tell you how that debriefing goes. Give me the ball on the snap.
And Doug Martin is going to be wrestled down as the flag goes down by Elvis Dumerville.
Illegal use of hands to the face. Defense, number 96.
And illegal hands to the face against Mitch Unrein, who caught the 1-yard touchdown pass on the first series. Slow getting up is Unrein. We have had most of the penalties in this game, and we have had 5 have been on the defensive side of the ball.
Unrein a little banged up as well on that play.
So we're going to take a break. 2:39 to go in the first. The Broncos leading the Bucs 7-3.
Well, the call was hands to the face on 96 Mitch Unrein, but he's going to beg to differ because Jamon Meredith pokes him in the eye, and it's just out of self-defense that he gets a handful of Jamon Meredith, and you see him right there. Got poked right in the eye, did Mitch Unrein.
So a 2-yard gain and a 5-yard penalty tacked on, and now it'll be a first down at the 37 of the Bucs. Play fake to Martin. Plenty of time for Freeman up the field. The pass is caught by Williams inside the 25. Mike Williams tackled by Harris, but the big gainer. Once again, this is the style of the Bucs offense this year.
That is their style. It's their formula. They're going to pound you with the power running game, and then they're going to go play action off of it and throw the ball downfield. Mike Williams, along with Vincent Jackson, talented wide receivers that they like one-on-one matchups on, and a great throw by Josh Freeman, throwing a strike to Mike Williams.
And a gain of 40 yards. Williams really helped by Jackson's presence, taking a lot of pressure off of him this year. And a first down on the 23 of the Broncos. And they go to Martin. And Martin busts through, and Martin with good yardage, picking up 6 yards on first down. Raheem Moore, the free safety, brings him down, and Martin has gained 26 yards so far.
And again, good running. You're going to throw the ball downfield, then you're going to say, okay, we got to keep our safeties back on defense. And then you say, all right, we're going to run it with Doug Martin. And Dick, I thought you made a great point on Vincent Jackson, how he's opened up this offense for other people. You think about Mike Williams. Mike Williams now draws the number 2 or 3 corner on the other squad. And for Doug Martin, you got to cover Vincent Jackson with safeties so the run game opens up. He opens it up for the entire offense.
That's why the offense is flourishing. They go to Martin again. He has the first down just outside the 10. 5-yard gain for Martin, who had a breakout 251-yard performance against the Oakland Raiders in his hometown of Oakland just a few weeks ago.
This is where you're Josh Freeman and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You got to think touchdowns right here. You know Peyton Manning's going to come back and score a lot of points. The Buccaneers do that as well, but you got to have touchdowns in the red zone.
So it's a first down and 10 from the 11. Bucs can get a first down without getting a touchdown. Freeman getting pressure, and this pass is going to be caught for the touchdown to Dallas Clark. Dallas Clark, who played so many years with Peyton Manning in Indianapolis and has been more of a force offensively lately, makes the catch, an 11-yard reception, and the Bucs lead for the first time.
I got to tell you, offensive coordinator Mike Sullivan for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is calling an excellent game right now. He's got this Denver defense on their heels, misdirection. He's moving the launch point of Josh Freeman, the quarterback. They're throwing the ball downfield. They're running it. You got to love the execution. And Greg Schiano is a happy man right about now.
Connor Barth looking to give the Buccaneers a 3-point lead with 14 seconds to go. And there's Dallas Clark. First time on the opposite side of the field of his former buddy and teammate.
And there's Dallas Clark, and there's Josh Freeman with a perfect strike. And Dallas Clark has always had some of the best hands in the league. Just get a little separation. What a throw by Josh Freeman. Only where Dallas Clark can get it. They're clicking on all cylinders right now on offense.
Clark caught 44 touchdown passes in 8 years from Peyton Manning, including a 100-catch year back in '09. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who had to settle for the field goal, get the touchdown. Clark and Peyton Manning meeting on opposite sides for the first time.
I sat here early in the year and couldn't figure out for the life of me why no one was signing Dallas Clark. Finally, the Bucs did. And it took a little while to get his legs back underneath him. He struggled with injuries the last couple of years. They're underneath him right now, and he's starting to shine.
And the reason he wanted the ball, as you see the 5-play, 70-yard drive, is that was his 50th career touchdown catch, 6th against the Denver Broncos. Michael Kanan will kick to Holiday. This kick will be 7 yards and run out by Trenton Holiday. Holiday upended just shy of the 20-yard line by Ahmad Black after a 25-yard return with 8 ticks remaining in the first quarter. And for a game break, let's get to Patrick O'Neill. Patrick.
All right, Dick. Well, if the Bengals were to beat the Chargers, and the Broncos would clinch the AFC West, and Cincy strikes first. Andy Dalton, great pass. Jermaine Gresham, 19-yard touchdown. 7-0 in the first. Dick and John.
First down at the 19. Hand off to Moreno, and Moreno getting 9 yards as the first quarter comes to an end. And that is the end of the first quarter. Broncos scored first, but the Bucs answered and lead 10-7. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after these messages. Start of the second quarter, Tampa Bay has the statistical lead and a 3-point lead in the game. First down from the 28, and Moreno stopped by Daquan Bowers. Bowers, who missed a lot of action, returned to the 7th game of the season after Achilles tendon rupture surgery. And there's the hurry up, loss of 3, and they quickly go back in the handoff this time, and the Bucs were ready for that play, and it was Moreno and once again Daquan Bowers. 2 straight plays. Bennett helped as well. No gain on the play. So 2 quick running plays, and Bowers is equal to the task.
He is. And Peyton Manning, what happened there? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers tried to substitute. You see, he's furious right now because he thinks he caught him with 12 men on the field. He's long done that. You try to substitute, he's going to snap it so quick. The referees don't call it, and he's livid right now.
Tampa Bay already has been called once for having too many men on the field. So Britton Colquitt will be punting, and a timeout is called by the Broncos with less than a minute gone in the second quarter. What's going on, says Peyton.
Today's game is sponsored by Miller Lite. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time. By Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry, with 5 times the selection of ordinary jewelry stores. And by The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey, in theaters everywhere December 14th.
And John Fox has thrown the challenge flag, claiming that the Buccaneers had too many men on the field.
You take a look, count the players here. There's 11, and as you watch, Roy Miller's going to be the 12th guy. I think Peyton Manning's got a valid point right here, because as they snap it, Roy Miller's not completely off the field. Peyton Manning may well get a first down here.
After review, the defense had 12 men on the field at the snap. 5-yard penalty for defense, 12 men. First down, Denver.
And there's Greg Schiano, who's really displeased with the fact that his team has been called for too many men on the field for the second time in the game, and it's a first down.
Now, Dick, we hear all the time, Greg Schiano said it himself. Peyton Manning, the hardest part, it's like he's a coach. You know who called that timeout? Peyton Manning. He told Mike McCoy, get a timeout, because he knew he was right. He gets him a first down. That's the heady type of play that makes this guy who he is.
He's running things here, and rightfully so. He's been there before. And Terry McCauley listening to Greg Schiano there. So McCoy knew exactly what he was doing there to run that play fast because the Buccaneers couldn't get the men off the field. So it'll be first down at the 30.
That's not Mike McCoy, that's Peyton. That's all on him. He sees the substitution. He's going to snap it before you can get off.
Manning going one way, flips it out to the left to Noshawn Moreno, and Mason Foster comes up to make the play, holding the Broncos to a 2-yard pickup.
Interesting thing here as you see Peyton Manning go to the hurry up. The Buccaneers' approach has been a very generic look on defense. They're not moving. They're standing right there and seeing if that can give Peyton Manning fits.
Going for yardage, and the catch is made by Demaryius Thomas. Thomas with his second catch of the game into Tampa Bay territory to the 40, 28 yards.
Just watch this throw. Great job by Demaryius Thomas getting open. You cannot throw this football any better. It's right on the money before the safety can get over. That's how Peyton Manning, who doesn't have the arm he once had, leads the league in explosive plays because he's got a receiver like that, but more importantly, he can put it exactly where it needs to be.
And loves working with Thomas and Decker. Handoff to Moreno, and Moreno is wrestled down, but he'll pick up 5.5 yards on first down. Demaryius Thomas coming in with 61 catches, including a 71-yard touchdown reception, the longest of the year for Denver. Now it's second down and 4.
You see the defense, they just stand still. They're trying to give no look. He's so good at getting you in the right play. They're trying a different approach. Let's show him nothing and see what he does with it.
Play fake, and the pass, and pass is caught by Tammy, and a flag goes down. Tammy with a very difficult catch, one-handed. Penalty marker down, and they're going to bring this one back. Flag thrown back at the 40, and it looks like a holding call against Denver. And it may be against Zane Beadles, the left guard, number 68. Second down now and 14. Ball back to the 45 of Tampa Bay. Peyton Manning goes behind, and a lateral to Lance Ball, and Ball is tackled by Michael Bennett.
You don't see that every day. Peyton Manning had he was under duress. Aaron Morgan coming off the edge, and Peyton Manning finds Lance Ball, who's trying to help him out block, and he throws it backwards and loses a yard in the process.
We've seen some interesting play calling by accident or design, haven't we, so far in the line?
Sure have.
Loss of 2, and now 3rd and 16 for the Broncos. Three-man rush for Tampa Bay, and Lance Ball breaks one tackle, but he won't get away from the second defender, and that will be Dakota Watson. So the Buccaneers really have played stalwart defense since that opening drive, and will force a punting situation when it looked like Manning had the ball in threatening spots.
And the approach right there by the Denver Broncos, you're saying, why are they running? Well, they've got a kicker who can kick them from 60 yards. They're trying to get some positive yards and get in field goal position. Very nice job by the Buccaneer defense with the quick tackle.
Brenton Colquitt will punt, and Roscoe Parrish back. Good kick, keeping it in the field of play, and the fair catch by Parrish at the 12. Well, the Broncos were explosive on the first series. Tampa Bay has taken the lead, and their offense will get back on the field when we return to Denver after these messages. After a 3-and-out, scoring on their last 2 possessions, and starting from the 8 this time are the Buccaneers. Doug Martin is pushed back, and nothing there. It'll be second down and long. Tampa Bay, by the way, has won 3 straight road games, beating the Vikings, the Raiders, and the Panthers, and this would really be a feather in their cap. Leading by 3, still early in the second.
Greg Schiano, let me tell you, he's done one heck of a job changing a culture around here. Under Raheem Morris, a good football coach, it was loose, and things got away from him. He's come in, he's been hard on these players, but they've responded.
2nd down and 9. Freeman with the pass is caught, and diving close to the first down is Stocker. It'll be close, and they'll be a little short there. And you're right about Schiano, John, because first-year head coaches really are starting to develop their program, but to make such an impact as he has in the first year, considering the 10 straight losses at the end, really is tremendous.
Well, considering how many players he's lost to injuries, to trades.
1st down.
He's lost a lot of players. You look at their offensive line that they're running really effectively behind. Well, you're missing 2 Pro Bowl players. Davin Joseph, prior to the season, got hurt on a season-ending injury. Carl Nix. You see all these guys, Quincy Black, Adrian Claiborne, probably their best all-around defensive line. Aqib Talib, one of their starting corners, he's traded. Eric Wright, Jeremy Trueblood was their starting right tackle, and yet they're 6-5 in the playoff hunt. Tremendous job by Greg Schiano. Next man up type mentality.
Exactly. And Sammy Straughter and Aurelius Ben, the kick returner, add them to the list as well. 10 on IR. Freeman with the quarterback sneak, 1st down, and now Martin slowed up, and he'll just get back to the line of scrimmage. So right now the Broncos seem to have tightened up their run defense.
And one thing about this style of offense, the attack that the Buccaneers are employing against the Broncos, not only, as we said, does it keep Peyton Manning on the sidelines, your best defensive player, Von Miller, where's he at his best? When you're dropping back and throwing, he can play the run, but when you're running right at him, I think it takes some of the sting out of him.
Made a play on the first play of the game. We haven't mentioned his name since. 2nd down and 10 from the 19. Freeman on the delay to Martin, and Martin the yard. That's all.
And Dick, I think Vaughn hurt us because he just made that tackle. He got in the backfield. And I tell you, this guy's a special football player, a complete football player. You're going to see him on the corner, and what he does, he wrecks stuff. He comes inside, he gets in the backfield, he messes up blocking scheme, and then he finishes people as well as any defender in the National Football League.
Now this crowd vocal, urging the Broncos to start the Bucs on 3rd and 8. Freeman and Vincent Jackson makes the catch. Raheem Moore makes the play against the big Vincent Jackson. And an 18-yard pickup silences the crowd, and a 1st down to the 40.
Well, what a tremendous throw and catch. You're going to see Vincent Jackson look like he's blocking on the screen, and then look at this concentration. He knows Raheem Moore's coming to blow him up, but never flinches. Looks the ball all the way in, knowing he's going to be hit, and that's where it helps to be 6'5", 230 pounds at the wide receiver position.
Amazing. In 12 games against Denver, never has had a 100-yard game. First down, and they go to Doug Martin. And head down, picking up about 3.
One thing about Greg Schiano, you know, he believes in running the football. A couple stops for no yards or negative yards, not going to deter him. That's what he believes in, and we've seen it come to fruition already. He believes in running the football and then throwing the ball to those big receivers outside, and they've executed it extremely well thus far today.
They average nearly 33 points a game in winning 5 of their last 7, facing 2nd down and 9. Freeman, flag is down, and this pass is caught at the 43 by Martin out of the backfield, a gain of 2, and it was good pressure by Von Miller. He certainly did hear us before.
10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
And a penalty called against the Buccaneers. It'll be holding against DeMar Dotson.
And this won't show up as a sack, but it's as good as a sack for Von Miller because he gets in DeMar Dotson's face and he drives him back such that the only thing he could do is hold him. He held him, he grabbed his face mask, did a lot more than just hold him. He mugged him, but that's what Von Miller does. This is a unique and special player who I think is one of the finest defensive players in the National Football League.
2nd overall pick last year. And third in sacks with 14. Second and 19. Back to the 31. And the handoff is to Martin. And a good call on second and long and another penalty throw. 6-yard gain for Martin. Terry McCauley.
Offside. Defense number 92. 5-yard penalty.
Elvis Dumerville. So it'll be a 5-yard penalty against the Broncos. John Fox's Broncos know with a victory today would be their 7th in a row and would wrap up the AFC West title.
See, even a drive like this, you look at Peyton Manning, he's sitting there on that sidelines, throwing the football on the sidelines. That's where you want him.
8th play of this drive. Freeman's pass incomplete, and Dallas Clark claiming that he was interfered with by DJ Williams, who was covering on the play.
DJ Williams coming back after a 9-game suspension. Makes a really nice play. That's just a good football play. He's got a little hold of his jersey, but that's all right. Former defensive player. You do it inside, they don't see it, and then he gets that left hand in there for the knockdown.
How did you do it?
Just like that.
3rd and 14. Freeman has time, and it's intercepted. Chris Harris intercepts Josh Freeman.
I think this one's coming back. They're going to get Von Miller for hitting Josh Freeman low.
And Freeman
roughing the passer. Defense
knows it. Roughing the passer called against Von Miller. So a critical penalty because the Broncos would have had the ball on a pick. It'll be a first down.
And watch the finish of this play. Again, the protection of the quarterbacks. You can't go below the knees. Like it or not, that's the rule. And Terry McCauley, a nice job on that call, catching Von Miller, going low on Josh Freeman.
Got to be a good call. You could see just as he went down how dangerous that could be.
And that really, in my mind, that stemmed from Ben Roethlisberger, Carson Palmer, back against the Pittsburgh Steelers. You see Chris Harris saying, oh man, those don't come easy.
So instead of Denver ball in Tampa Bay territory, it's the Bucs ball in Bronco territory at the 49. And Freeman, well, he's getting a lot of time. And off the hands and nearly an interception. Eric Lorig, the fullback, and that was really up for grabs. And Chris Harris very nearly had an interception to count. Second down and 10. I think so far, John, as you see the ball hit the ground, this game not going really according to what many people in Denver thought it would be to this point.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a good football team, and they stay in most games.
Second down and 10. And Freeman got hit as he tried to get the short pass, and it was Von Miller with the pressure, knocked him down. And an incomplete pass, 3rd down and 10, upcoming.
And here comes Von Miller again. You try to put Dallas Clark blocking Von Miller. That's a mismatch all day long. And Josh Freeman will tell you so.
Boy, it's been a long time that Peyton Manning has been waiting on the sidelines to get out there again.
And that was the Bucs' plan. They wanted 18 on the sidelines, and they've done a nice job of it, as the time of possession tells you.
Keep Peyton Manning on the sidelines. Not a bad thing for the Bucs, huh? And there's the short pass through the hands. Flag is down. DJ Ware saw that ball go right through, but another penalty marker down.
Holding. Offense number 76.
And that'll be against Jeremy Zutaw, the left guard. It'll be declined. 4th down coming up, and Tampa Bay will kick.
Watch Zutaw right here. He's going to be working against Malik Jackson, and he gets an armful of them. Whenever you get that arm around them and outside of the framework of your body, they're not going to miss that.
So on 4th down, Jim Leonard goes back for the Broncos. And Michael Kanan with the good kick. Fair catch at the 10. 4:36 remaining. Manning will come out again. 8 of 11 for 77 yards, a 1-yard touchdown, but he's been on the bench a while.
Today's game is sponsored by AT&T. Rethink possible.
Back here in Denver, Dick Stockton along with John Lynch and Jennifer Hale. Buccaneers lead 10-7. First down on the 10 for Peyton Manning and the Broncos. Swings it out to Moreno. And Moreno will wind up with a couple of yards thanks to E.J. Biggers and Lavonte David. And Peyton Manning now with the second most completions in NFL history, passing Dan Marino, and behind Brett Favre, 4,968.
How about these names he's even in the company with? You're passing John Elway, you're passing Dan Marino, and Brett Favre's the only one in front of you. Truly remarkable players, as is he.
Second and 8. Moreno breaks a tackle. Good run by Moreno. First down and more. So no Sean Moreno, who missed 8 games before he returned as a starter last week, picks up 16 yards on the ground.
Look at this job by the left side of this offensive line. Zane Beadles and Ryan Clady. Beadles takes Gerald McCoy out of there. There comes Chris Cooper leading the way. The right guard, that's good run blocking. Peyton Manning said, we've got to run the ball. I know they're the #1 run defense in the league. We need to run the ball. We need the balance.
And that's got to open up in the passing game. First down, and the short pass out to Demaryius Thomas with a great run after the catch. Thomas near midfield. Thomas with a very solid first half.
Peyton Manning sees just that. E.J. Biggers comes on the corner blitz. You get your receiver the ball against a safety. Demaryius Thomas, a physical specimen. That's a mismatch. Great recognition per usual for Peyton Manning.
Over 1,000 yards already, and now 3 catches for 55 in this game. Ronnie Hillman has come in as the running back, and this one is caught just shy of the first down by Matthew Willis, and they'll mark it close to the first down yardage. And the Broncos in Buccaneer territory with under 2.5 to play. Denver has 2 timeouts remaining. Tampa Bay has all 3 of theirs. Hillman remains in there on 2nd and 1. Here's Hillman, and he's going to lose a yard. Gary Gibson, the former Ram.
Talk about the Buccaneer defense and being #1 in the National Football League in rush defense. That's what they do. They play in your backfield, make it awful tough to run the football.
2-minute warning. Two minutes to go in the half. It'll be 3rd and 2 for the Broncos on the Bucs 44. 2 timeouts left for Denver. Moreno, the running back, was in motion from the left. Manning. Moreno drops the ball. He had it and would have had a first down, John.
Looks like Peyton Manning staying right out there, and we'll see if he catches the Bucs substituting again. We were saved by a bad ball exchange by the referees.
4th down and 2.
20. 54 side. 54 side. Hurry, hurry.
Doing his best to draw the Buccaneers offside. They wouldn't budge, John. And timeout called by Denver. Pretty good job there to no avail. Big play But first, Saturday, the UFC returns to Fox. We'll tell you about that in a moment. So after the timeout by the Broncos, it'll be punting situation, and Colquitt will be kicking, and Parrish is back deep for the Bucs. And Peyton Manning wouldn't want to be in that locker room at halftime. Been a frustrating first half as this kick trying to save it, and I think the Broncos do at the 4 with 1:45 to go, and it was Omar Bolden who batted it out into the field of play without stepping on the line or in the end zone.
Great play by Omar Bolden, the rookie out of Arizona State, keeps his feet in bounds, bats it back. They down the ball and pin Josh Freeman and the Buccaneers. Great kick by Colquitt as well.
Well, this is interesting, John, with what the Buccaneers do. They have 3 timeouts left, 1:45 to go, but this is where you really don't want to give Denver another chance to tie the game or take the lead.
Yeah, so you try to get conservative, and then you pin yourself back and give Peyton Manning the ball with great field position. 1 first down would be key right here.
Broncos have 1 timeout left. Tampa Bay 3. Doug Martin moving ahead, picking up 3.5.
Dick, we go back to that last drive. This was the 3rd down play. Just a perfect ball from Peyton Manning to Noshawn Moreno. And remember, the reason Moreno's in there is because Willis McGahee, who had 26 catches and a really good receiver, is their normal running back. He's on IR. Could possibly, under the new IR rules, come back for the AFC Championship game. But Noshawn Moreno got to catch that football.
McGahee had 4 touchdowns and injured his knee against San Diego a couple of weeks ago. Now it's 2nd and 7. From the 7. Going conservative to Martin. And Martin brings it out to the 10. Dumerville making the tackle. Under a minute to go. Want to remind you, the Visa halftime report coming up. And for Brady Quinn and the Chiefs, a big day and a dramatic day in Kansas City. And how about the 49ers and the Bears? 2 division leaders, both upset, and both upset in overtime. That's all coming up on the Visa halftime report. 3rd down and 4. And it's Martin again. And he'll get the first down. And that should seal the first half as time runs out. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers leading the high-scoring Broncos 10-7. We now go to Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles for the Visa halftime, which starts now. Second half getting underway. The Broncos trail the Buccaneers 10-7. And follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. Low scoring game so far. 2 high scoring teams. And what surprises you, John?
Well, I think what surprises me most is the lack of execution for the Broncos. They're really wasting a great effort from their quarterback. Peyton Manning sharp per usual today. He's on the money. You think of 2 third downs. They roll a snap back and you drop a 3rd down. That can't happen. I also think some poor clock management. At the end of that half, you didn't have field goals because you had to take one when you wanted to get a 12-man field. Instead of throwing the challenge, you called a timeout. And then number 2, you could have taken a delay on the punt instead of calling the timeout on 4th down. And so they've got to play better football, do the Denver Broncos. And the Bucs, they're playing exactly how they want to. And the one thing I'd caution you if you're a Buccaneer fan, remember, you're playing Peyton Manning, one of the greatest adjusters at the quarterback position of all time.
Denver won the toss. They deferred, so they'll get the ball first. Those are Manning's numbers. Moreno, the running back. And Demaryius Thomas, and Denver will start at the 20. And let's get the coach's report from Jennifer Hale.
Well, Dick, Coach Greg Schiano told his team at halftime Peyton Manning is most dangerous in the second half because he had all of halftime to communicate his knowledge and what he's gleaned from the game to the rest of his teammates. Schiano saving some looks, especially for this third and fourth quarter, because he doesn't want to show Peyton Manning the same things over and over. Meanwhile, Coach John Fox says his team is killing themselves. He's not making excuses for him, just telling him to tighten up, guys.
All right, Jennifer, thank you very much. Underscoring what John pointed out. And now a first down at the 20-yard line, starting the third quarter. We had no sacks and no turnovers in the first half. Play fake, first down. Manning, pass caught, 9-yard pickup to Matthew Willis.
And Dick, week after week, we talk about defenses trying to confuse a quarterback. Here's the Buccaneers approach. They're doing nothing. They're standing still. They know they can't fool Peyton Manning, so I actually like it. You don't see Peyton with all his antics because they aren't doing anything. They're showing the same look over and over, and it seems to be working.
Second down and 1, and here is Moreno giving ground, and a flag flies from behind the line of scrimmage, and Daniel Tionesheim stops Moreno for a loss of 1. Gerald McCoy got good penetration.
Offense number 68.
And
10-yard
holding
penalty.
against Zane Beadles, the left guard. Second penalty on him today.
And Dick, you're exactly right. Gerald McCoy forces this penalty with tremendous penetration. He gets in that backfield, and Zane Beadles, feet beat, and you go start grabbing. Gerald McCoy doing a great job getting in the bucket in the Broncos backfield.
McCoy with 3 sacks on the year. And 7 penalties against Denver. Frustrating day so far for John Fox. Second and 11.
Watch him, Dave. Hurry,
Manning, shallow cross to Demaryius Thomas, who's hit immediately by Rondé Barber. John pointed out at the top of the game we would see Barber, who switched from corner to safety this year, playing a nickel corner in this game, and he has.
And this is where Rondé Barber's at his best. In the underneath coverage, he's a sure tackler. Again, they're showing that static look, no movement in the back, showing them the same look every time. And we'll see if they can do it here on third down.
And movement in the line, and it was Michael Bennett.
Defense number 71.
Called for the
5-yard
offside penalty, so now it'll be third and 1. Big difference.
And what a play by Peyton Manning. He's a guy, not many guys from the shotgun can hard count. But again, the inflection of his voice draws Michael Bennett. And that's just smart quarterbacking. 3rd and 7, what do you do? 3rd and 6, go with the hard count. Try to get the penalty. Now you're 3rd and 1.
Ram.
Manning looking for a target, can't find one, and finally finds Noshan Moreno for the first down. Talk about ad-lib, you won't see it better than that. And a 4-yard gain and a first smile we've seen on Peyton Manning's face today.
He even got a chuckle out of that one. You watch this 3rd and 1. I'm thinking he's going to run about here. But Lavonte David does a tremendous job of pushing down, but then Peyton stays with the play. And great concentration by Noshan Moreno bringing that in one-handed. And that's classic. Greg Schiano can appreciate a great play even if it's on the other team.
Hurry.
First down. Moreno was down when he made the catch. And on first down, pass intended for Willis, covered by Barrett. Crowd looking for a flag, none coming.
So we talk about Tampa Bay being static before the play. Where they're doing their movement and changing things up is once the snap occurs. Now they're giving them a different look. And I think it's a really good plan because, again, you get Peyton, who is so good at getting them in the right play. If you show him the same look, you can't audible to anything.
How does he adjust to that then?
It's hard to because they keep showing him. They aren't showing him anything. So he's going to have to adjust after the snap.
And there's the toss to Willis. And Willis will wind up with 2 yards after Rondé Barber hits him. Game break time, Kurt Menefee. Take it away, Kurt.
All right, and the Ravens are trying to take it away from the Steelers again without Ben Roethlisberger. Beautiful catch made by Anquan Bolden. The only touchdown so far in this game, but it's good enough to give them a 10-point lead as they approach halftime, 13-3. Dick, John, and Jennifer.
All right, Kurt, thank you. 3rd down and 6 on the 37 of the Broncos. First possession of the second half. Pressure put on Manning, and the flags, none throwing. And at that time, Tampa Bay, which had not put a lot of pressure on opposition quarterbacks this year, came on Peyton Manning. And the Tampa Bay defense holds. They've held Denver to just 7 points early here into the 3rd.
And if you can't convert on 3rd down, you aren't going to be on the field. And that's what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers' plan was. They're doing it by possessing on defense and then playing great football on 3rd down on defense.
This is a poised Buccaneer team playing on the road in a tough place to win. Parrish is back deep and Colquitt to kick. Great kick and a fair catch inside the 10, and good no call there. Freeman comes out, got a long way to go on this first possession. Buccaneer offensive leaders as they start from the 8-yard line, and we'll get to that. Britton Colquitt, great punting. 3rd straight time Tampa Bay has started inside the 10. And here's Doug Martin, and Martin picks up a couple and gets to the 10. Forward progress for Martin, who's now carried 16 times for 50 yards. His longest gain has been 9. Freeman is 8 for 14, the touchdown pass to Dallas Clark. Mike Williams with 3 catches leading the way for Tampa Bay.
Dick, I can't tell you what a critical juncture of the game this is for the Denver defense. You've got, with the great punt by Colquitt, good field position. Peyton Manning, you want him back on the field. You got to have a 3 and out here.
2nd down and 8. Freeman, and Williams was defended by Harris, who had a better chance of getting the ball than Williams. So now 3rd and 8 for Freeman.
This is where Jack Del Rio, the defensive coordinator for the Denver Broncos, likes to be. They call it their sub packages. When you bring in more than 4 DBs, this is where they're at their best, and this is where Von Miller's at his best. You've got to block him. Give extra attention to Von Miller if you're the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Miller and Dumerville have 22 of those 37 sacks. And 6 defensive backs in for Denver inside the 5. And this pass incomplete, trying to go to Tyquan Underwood. And it was Dumerville who put the pressure on.
And Von Miller collapsed the pocket as well on DeMar Dotson. You think of him as a speed guy, but he's got just as much power. And that's what I'm talking about. Strength on the edges. They make life miserable on quarterbacks.
And this is just what the prescription was for the Broncos, is to get the 3 and out, get good field position. And Trendon Holiday, the big threat near midfield, and a high snap, but Kanan gets it away. And kicking it away from Holiday, who fields it at the 28. Here's Trendon Holiday down the sideline. And it will be good field position indeed for Peyton Manning and the Broncos. And they'll mark it at the 47. The defense does the job for Denver. They get the ball back down by 3. The UFC returns to Fox. Lightweight champion Benson Henderson puts his title on the line against top contender Nate Diaz, highlighting a full night of epic fights. Fox 5 begins Saturday. UFC 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, only on Fox. Best field position for either team thus far, the 48 for the Broncos. Fake to Moreno, and the pass out is caught by Thomas. First down into Tampa Bay territory. Johnson covering 13 yards.
And here's what I think Peyton Manning does best, the play action pass. You're going to sell the run to Moreno. Then you got your Demaryius Thomas on the outside. He pushes the corner, gets separation, and he knows that ball's coming. There's a trust and timing that comes with Peyton Manning as the quarterback, and Demaryius Thomas is starting to get that.
Hurry, hurry!
Now first down at the 39. And here is Manning. Lost this one, and it's caught by Jacob Tamme, the tight end. And it's another first down inside the 25. 15 more. Barron, the rookie strong safety, covering.
And maybe he doesn't have the strongest arm in the league, but look at this touch. You cannot throw a football any better to Jacob Tamme. And these receivers, as Mike McCoy said, it's like they're kids in the candy store getting an opportunity to play with one of the all-time greats.
And if Manning says if they have a depleted secondary, let's try to take advantage of it here. Big time. He goes again. And this pass thrown behind Tamme. Black, the linebacker, was covering, or Black, the free safety, was downfield covering, and it'll be 2nd and 10.
He did his old teammate in Indianapolis, Jacob Tamme, a favor, because he was going to get blown up by Ahmad Black had that ball been thrown up the field. He throws it to his back shoulder intentionally.
They're on the 24 now. Field goal range for sure. They're looking to get the touchdown and take the lead on 2nd and 10. Trying to get the lead, and a flag goes down. Demaryius Thomas working on Leonard Johnson. I should say Peyton Manning working on Leonard Johnson, and you talked about how he was burned last week.
And they're going to put him out on the island. They're stubborn about it, but when a guy's been torched in this league, they talk about corners got to have short memories, but they don't. They have long memories, and they remember getting beat, and they get grabby, and when you get grabby in this league, you get penalties on you.
Mention Eric Wright, suspended for 4 games. He's eligible to return in week 17. And Aqib Talib, who was suspended and then traded to New England. So it's Biggers and Leonard Johnson, the corners. Thin at that position.
Leonard Johnson, a heck of a competitor. He wasn't drafted, though, you know, and a lot of teams see things, and the guy competes his tail off. You can't leave him out there alone.
1st and goal from the 8. Manning's pass. Touchdown! Demaryius Thomas. And once again, taking advantage of the undrafted rookie from Iowa State, Leonard Johnson.
You want to talk about timing and trust. My goodness, look at Demaryius Thomas, not out of the break, and there's the ball right on the money once again. Peyton Manning delivering an absolute dime to Demaryius Thomas. Good coverage by Leonard Johnson. Young man, there's nothing you can do right there.
Looked like he had a little decoy going there. Johnson, watching him, kind of acted coy and then made the catch for the touchdown, an 8-yard reception. And Matt Prater, the extra point, and the Broncos lead 14-10. First lead since 7-0, and the dunk by Thomas, and Manning has a new Broncos record, 28 touchdown passes on the year. Well, there's the record he broke. John Elway in '97 was passed by the 2 touchdown passes today by Peyton Manning, who has 28 on the year, and John Elway has to be delighted, the executive vice president of football operations for the Broncos. Laquan Lewis sees it sail out of the end zone. And the celebration for Peyton Manning. Wasn't smiling early, but the record, not enough for Peyton Manning. Broncos by 4. Call ** NFL to download NFL Mobile now and get coverage of every NFL game. So the Broncos wanted a 3 and out, get the ball back into the hands of Peyton Manning, and in 4 plays, 58 yards, they got the leading touchdown here.
And now if you're Josh Freeman, you got to match him. You want to beat the big boys, you got to play with the big boys.
Inside the 10, Freeman looking to go deep, nothing there, and throws it away. And Martin was covered by Von Miller. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Good coverage by the secondary for the Broncos downfield. Freeman now 8 of 17, has thrown for 121 yards and 1 touchdown. There's a capsule look at the Bucs offense.
Look at Freeman on the year, 57%, and you say that's not good. That's the nature of their offense. They aren't dink and dunk. His percentage isn't going to be 65%. It's going to be a little bit lower.
Martin brings it to the 27, and a flag is down. against the Bucs.
Holding, offense number 69. 10-yard penalty, second down.
DeMar Dotson. Holding penalty.
One thing that has been just happening is Wesley Woodyard, as you see the hold by Jamon Meredith on DJ Williams. But Wesley Woodyard has gone off. He's been nicked the last couple of series. We'll see how they play without him. He's been outstanding at the linebacker position for the Broncos.
DJ Williams, John, is in there. Freeman going deep for Williams. Well covered downfield by Chris Harris. So Freeman now is 0 for his last 8 in passing, and it'll be a 3rd and 20.
This Chris Harris is a player that not a lot of people know about, but a really good football player. Watch him right here. Get his body there, but then he looks back. If you turn your head, the referees aren't as quick to call the cutoff. That's just good cornerback play right there against a really good receiver in Mike Williams.
3rd down and 20 from the 10. Turn up the volume here at Mile High. Handoff is to DJ Ware. And Ware will be stopped 2 yards shy of the first down. So the Broncos, who stopped Tampa Bay on the first possession, 3 and out, getting the job done again thanks to Jim Leonard, who's come in for the injured Mike Adams, shaken up apparently, and no 4th down. And Kanan will be kicking from around the 5.
That again goes to Von Miller. Why do they run the ball on 3rd down? Because they're afraid they can't protect Von Miller. They try to sneak a run in, and the Broncos are on the spot, get people to tackle Ware before the first down.
Brendan Holiday back deep down the sideline, and he is tackled. Good field position. We've been honoring Peyton Manning, and why not? Look at the first 13 years with the Indianapolis Colts, MVP of a Super Bowl, started every game. Then he was out the entire year, 4 neck procedures, signed as an unrestricted free agent. And the Broncos, with Manning, have won 6 in a row, can wrap up the AFC West today. Those are his numbers, and his rating this year right now is the 2nd highest of his career. Those are the numbers coming into this action today. First down at the 43. Good field position for Peyton Manning. First pass caught for the first down to Tammy. And to Buccaneer territory to the 43.
And you see all those unbelievable numbers, but the translation, what that means to the Denver Broncos, they were instantaneously Super Bowl contenders when he walked in the building. And you credit John Fox, you credit John Elway, because the connection that Peyton Manning and John Elway had, that's why he's here. And they're going to contend for a Super Bowl, and they're going to do it this year.
From the 43 and going underneath to Moreno. And Moreno getting into the 38 for a gain of 5. David, the rookie linebacker, as Moreno loses a shoe and goes out of the game. And the question is, of course, if the Broncos win today, wrap up the division, they'll have home field for at least the first round of the playoffs. And they've got some tough AFC teams.
See Terry McAulay come in, and that's going to, if you're going to substitute as an offense, they've got to give the defense time to substitute. Terry McAulay does a nice job coming in there and slowing down Peyton Manning.
Ronnie Hillman is in for Moreno. And Hillman with the carry. Gets slowed up, but not enough to get another first down. 6-yard gain for Hillman, rookie from San Diego State. So New England clinched the division title. The Broncos can do it here. They'll be no worse than a 4th seed and a home field the first round of the playoffs. And right now, Denver would play Indianapolis. What a matchup that would be in the first round. Open, Tammy. And Tammy gets 9 yards.
Speaking of the Colts, 2 former Colts right there hooking up. Manning to Tammy. But you think the irony there, and you think you would have a motivated Peyton Manning. He tries to downplay. We talked about that in the feature that I did in the pregame show. They tried to downplay that with Indianapolis, but I've been there myself, played 11 years in Tampa, and got fired, and you have a little extra motivation when you play them.
You downplay it, but you don't mean it.
Yeah.
Here's Hillman. First down for Hillman. And more inside the 20. And here with the flag is down. Penalty marker thrown.
Illegal use of hands to the face. Defense number 71.
And it's on Michael Bennett.
First down.
And right now the Broncos have taken control in this third quarter, leading by only 4, but in rhythm for the first time offensively, and that's kind of posed a lot of problems for Greg Schiano.
One thing Vincent Jackson, the great wide receiver, said for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we got to really play smart. You can't have penalties against a team like this. You can't have turnovers. The penalties have bit both teams. And you get the feeling as you're watching this game that Peyton Manning and this Denver Bronco team is starting to click on all cylinders. A critical juncture for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to keep them out of the end zone right here.
You're absolutely right here. The Broncos have incredible momentum. It'll be first and goal at the 7. And Moreno is back in the game. First and goal.
Remember, Peyton said to us this week, they load up to stop the pass in the red zone. We got to run it.
And they did the first time they had the ball. And they're going to run it with Moreno, but he slips. There were 2 high school football games played on this field last night. Field looks to be in good condition, but might have been worn a little bit, and this time Moreno slipped down and a loss of 1.
Jack Del Rio's son, Luke, an outstanding quarterback at Valor, won a state championship, and I'm sure Jack Del Rio's plenty proud of his son, committed to Oklahoma State next year.
Look at the ball control story and what Broncos have done here in this quarter. Second down and goal, ball back at the 10. Manning up the middle, touchdown! Demaryius Thomas, his second.
You know what, Dick, on second thought, that running the ball in stuff's overrated. Let's go to what we do best, and what we do best is Peyton Manning to Demaryius Thomas. It beats double coverage. You get Demaryius Thomas, a wide receiver, on coverage against a linebacker and safety, and Peyton Manning loves it.
Well, they ran the ball, John. You were right to set it up. And Thomas now with 8 touchdown catches of the year. And now Matt Prater looking to give the Broncos an 11-point lead with 4:39 remaining in the third quarter. Thoroughly dominated by the orange-clad Broncos. It's 21-10. And Manning, 22 of 29, 204 yards, 3 touchdowns. 2 of them caught. A perfect pass to Demaryius Thomas. I have to go back to early in the third quarter, and don't forget 11 completions in the first half, 11 in the third quarter alone for Peyton Manning. And they had backed up Tampa Bay's offense. It's a 3 and out, get the ball into Peyton's hands. They did that twice, and he brought him down for touchdowns, and really set the stage of what Denver wanted to do with the adjustments. Tampa Bay will start from the 20 in what is a critical possession for them coming up. Well, this Tuesday, Fox Fight Week has 4 knockout rounds of non-stop comedy with an all-new heavyweight episodes of Raising Hope, Ben and Kate, New Girl, and The Mindy Project. Take on the funniest night on television starting this Tuesday at 8, 7 Central, part of Fox Fight Week. Last scoring drive, 7 plays, 57 yards, and a first down at the 20 for the Buccaneers. They start out with Doug Martin, and he starts out with 2 yards. Let's go to Kurt Menefee for a game break.
Well, the Ravens and Steelers are all tied right now as Jonathan Dwyer gets the first touchdown of his NFL career. 133 carries to do it. More importantly, it evens the score of 13 apiece as they are early in the third quarter. Dick and John.
All right, Kurt, the Steelers' last team to beat the Ravens in Baltimore. They've won 15 straight of the Ravens. Getting a big challenge from the Steelers today. Second down and 8 at the 22. Freeman gets hit as he throws, and it's intercepted. picked off by Von Miller, and he's going to go in for the touchdown. Yard return of an interception thrown by Josh Freeman, his first interception of the year. And this crowd is going wild as the Broncos trying to stretch their lead to 28-10 in what has been a phenomenal domination of the third quarter. Prater with the extra point. We had no scoring in the second quarter after the Bucs led 10-7. And Von Miller, not only his first interception of the year, the first of his career.
You see Mitch Unrein, who had a touchdown earlier, come with the pressure, hits Freeman in the back, and there's Von Miller, who makes another statement that he should be the defensive player of the year. And why are you a really good football team? Because you've got special players on both sides of the ball. Peyton Manning on the offense and Von Miller. You could have an offensive player of the year and a defensive player of the year on the same team. Credit to John Elway for drafting that young man and for going out and acquiring Peyton Manning. It's hard to stop when you got players like that on both ends of the ball.
Von Miller, a lot of people think the best pass rusher in the league. He's all over the place. You pointed that out early in the game. He was the AFC Defensive Player of the Month, and picking up where he left off. And the first turnover of the game is the interception by Miller, returning it for the touchdown. 26 yards.
And I would tell you about Von Miller, he's more than just a pass rusher, and he just demonstrated it right there. He plays the run exceptionally well. We just saw he can play the pass and coverage. This kid's an outstanding young player.
Broncos have outscored the Bucs 21-0 here in the third quarter. And Lewis will down it for the touchback. And let's talk about some of the top defensive players. And Miller is certainly making his mark, John, today.
Absolutely, and some tremendous competition does Von Miller have. J.J. Watt having an outstanding season with the 14.5 sacks, and it seems like he's batting a pass. Alden Smith, 16.5 sacks. But to me, Von Miller separates himself because he's complete. Alden Smith, pretty much a pass rusher. J.J. Watt, Von Miller, those are the two guys for me. Von Miller keeps playing like this. It's going to be hard not to give it to him.
Josh Freeman now 8 of 19. First down from the 20. And completes the pass, and a first down to Tyquan Underwood. Hit immediately by Champ Bailey. So the Buccaneers, who had 3 and out 3 times, and then the interception. First down at the 31. Underneath, Doug Martin holds on to the ball and picked up a couple of yards. Danny Trevathan makes the tackle.
Dick, we talk about Peyton Manning making everybody in the building better. He appreciates everybody. That's Jack Del Rio, the defensive coordinator. And after that pick, he goes up and he says, "Nice job, Jack. I appreciate it." You call this complimentary football. They've got it going on both sides of the football. They're going to be tough to deal with come playoff time. A very good football team here in Denver.
And how active is Peyton Manning on the sideline? Really,
he never stops.
You know, touching everybody. Second down and 8. Freeman off balance and no one home. Jim Leonard was the closest to it, and it'll be third down and 8 for the Buccaneers. What a third quarter contrast. 21-0. 6 more plays run by the Broncos, and 110-26 in yardage. Third and 8 for Freeman and the Bucs. Not a good third down day for Tampa Bay. Here comes the pressure. Freeman overthrows Williams. Carter got a hand on it. 4th down coming up.
Josh Freeman's a little bit rattled right now. Jack Del Rio will tell you about Tony Carter. It's sticky coverage, sticky man-to-man. One thing Jack Del Rio does great, he throws multiple personnel groups at you as a defense. 5 DBs, 6 DBs, 7 DBs, different linebacker packages. You complement that with the tremendous pass rush, and it's tough for quarterbacks like Josh Freeman to operate.
3rd 3 and out plus the interception, and Kanan will be kicking to Holiday. Coming over to the 15. Trying to get free. Gets free, gets past 3 defenders. And here is Holiday down the sideline with a great return. And caught from behind. And he knows he would have been off had he not been caught from behind by Jacob Contreras.
You talk about another acquisition by John Elway. Trenton Holiday was cut by the Houston Texans, was out there. John Elway knows that a great thing to have when you're trying to make a run at a Super Bowl is an explosive return game. This young man has provided that for him. Field position, touchdowns on kickoffs, on punt returns. He's a special game-changing player as well. And John Fox appreciates it.
51 yards, John, on that one. And he had the 105 kickoff return for a score against Cincinnati. 76-yard punt return, and nearly broke one for a score there. And a first down at the 40 of the Buccaneers. Play action. And it's intercepted by Levante David. And David bringing it back for the Buccaneers. And that stops what has been an impressive Denver surge engineered by Peyton Manning and the defense. 28 yards on the return by David.
And this is a really good play by a good young player, Levante David. This kid's a special player, thrown into triple coverage. Peyton Manning knows that that was not a smart decision. A guy who makes so many good decisions. He's human, made a bad one, and Levante David, an excellent football player, made him pay.
And his first career interception, John, and Tampa Bay, see if they can get back in this game. They'll be at the 48 of the Broncos. Freeman under pressure and unable to grab this was the tight end Dallas Clark. And this time it was Dumervil, who has 8 sacks on the year, came storming in on Freeman.
And Dick, you just talked about Dumervil having 8 sacks on the year, and that's what makes this team tough to deal with. If you've got one pass rusher, you can send backs to him, you can chip, but they've got him coming from both sides. That's really difficult to deal with.
2nd and 10. Freeman completes it to Jackson. He'll get a first down. Vincent Jackson to the 36-yard line, picking up 12.
Vincent Jackson's been somewhat quiet today, only 2 catches. That's a testament to Champ Bailey. He's so darn good. I played with this guy. You're talking about a future Hall of Fame player in Champ Bailey. 51 interceptions on his career. He's so good, you fail to talk about him as much as you should.
On first down, Freeman waiting and trying to get it to Williams, but covered by Chris Harris. Boy, Harris has played a stellar game at cornerback.
He's an excellent football player, and you love those stories. Rookie free agent last year. Came out, showed that he can make plays, and John Fox and John Elway will tell you, we don't care whether you're drafted, traded, wherever you came from. If you can play football, we're going to play you. Chris Harris has established himself as a starter and a really good one in this league.
2nd down and 10, hand off to Martin. And Martin picking up about 3. As we wind down to a minute remaining in the 3rd quarter. A 21-0 burst by the Broncos here in the 3rd quarter, putting them from 3 points behind to 18 in front. 3rd and 6. Caught by Williams, first down inside the 20. Penalty flag down. Back behind the line of scrimmage. And it'll be against the Buccaneers.
Use of hands to the face. Offense number 70. 10-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Donald Penn, and penalties have really hurt the Buccaneers today. By the way, 7 defensive penalties against Tampa Bay, 7 of their 10.
Going to see Donald Penn right here working against Elvis Dumervil once again. I mentioned it earlier today, great pass rushers. This is as good as a sack. You see Donald Penn, Terry McCauley all over it. That hurts your team.
So instead of a first down, the Bucs now 3rd and 16 back on the 42 of Denver. Flag down. Freeman's pass incomplete.
They're going to get Elvis Dumervil for jumping the gun there. He's offsides. The Bucs will have another opportunity.
Offside, defense number 92. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
So it'll be 3rd down with a 5-yard penalty, and John Fox with his opinion.
John Fox thinks it's a really good jump, and I'm not so sure I disagree. Sometimes it looks when they get off that quick that it's an offside. That's a really good jump by Elvis Dumervil.
Third and 11. Now from the 37. 13 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Freeman has a blocker in front of him and will be stopped at the 31, about 5 yards shy of the first down, and that will do it for the 3rd quarter. It has been a chess match on the sidelines. Greg Schiano and Peyton Manning. Manning right now in the lead, 28-10, as Fox NFL Sunday continues after a break from your local Fox station. 3rd quarter, the difference, 21-0. Denver, and they have the lead, and Barth is trying the field goal of 50.
And I think it's the smart decision. This would make it a 2-score game, a 15-point game. We'll see if Barth can make it.
And Barth's kick is good, but now what's the issue?
Now stop Peyton Manning.
That's all?
Today's Game on Fox is sponsored by Samsung Galaxy Note 2. The next big thing is here. By Bud Light, the official beer of NFL fans. Here we go. And by Burger King. Come celebrate 55 years of the Whopper sandwich at Burger King, where taste is king.
And welcome back to Denver, where the Buccaneers end the 21-0 slide with a field goal, and it's 28-13. And Brendan Holiday back deep. Kanan will kick off.
It's good.
No points. Out of sight on that kickoff. And so Peyton Manning will start from the 20-yard line. And you mentioned at the outset of our broadcast that he has won 4 MVPs. Here are the numbers after 11 games of his MVP seasons.
And I tell you, you look at him and you're amazed, because now it's 29 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. But those numbers are extremely comparable with the numbers from his other 4 MVP seasons. There's other guys out there having great seasons. Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, a number of great quarterbacks. But this guy doing it after 4 neck surgeries, to me, just unbelievable.
Goes underneath and completes it to Demaryius Thomas, who has 2 touchdown passes. Now, you had the surgery on the neck. Tell us what that all means.
Well, I think our circumstances were a little different. I had to hit people. Now, Peyton, I know talking to him, he thinks mine's tougher because I had to hit people, but I think having to throw a football and throw it with the precision that you have to in this league, I think that's a much bigger task, particularly the fact that he had 4 surgeries to my 1. So advantage Peyton Manning once again.
Jacob Tamme with the first down. Tammy now with 7 catches on the game and a first down for the Broncos, trying to wrap up their second straight AFC West title. They could hold on to their lead. We're a minute into the fourth quarter.
I think Tammy getting a lot of the throws that typically go to Brandon Stokely, who's out. And I think Stokely could have played if this were a playoff game. Brandon Stokely's playing, but he's an older player. He was nicked up a little, and I think they decided to sit him to be smart.
At 36, why not? Hand off to Moreno, and he'll lose a yard. Good penetration, Mason Foster there. So the Buccaneers trying to get back in the game, but Levante David with the interception. They got 3 points out of that. Each team has committed a turnover. Josh Freeman anxious to get back on the field, finding out what's going on upstairs. 2nd and 10. As you mentioned, the Buccaneers have to hold this man.
See Peyton Manning go to work, getting him in the right play, which he does better than anybody who's ever played.
And they hand it off to Hillman. And Hillman will be about 3 yards short of the first down. Rondé Barber with help from McCoy up front.
You talk about getting in the right play. What he saw right here, he saw Rondé Barber. You got a light guy in there, let's run right at him. Rondé Barber's a heck of a player, but he's 180 pounds. So Peyton Manning, he thinks it's pretty simple. You see a small guy in there, we're going to run it right at you.
Third and 3, and the first down catch made by Eric Decker. So it's been all Demaryius Thomas today, but Eric Decker comes in with a 5-yard first down catch.
What a throw by Peyton Manning, hitting Decker right on the money. And what I'm chuckling about, Peyton Manning just chastised the crowd for being too loud after the play, looked at him, told him to be quiet one more time.
I don't know why he doesn't go up into the crowd.
He directs everybody.
First and 10 at the 47 of the Broncos. He could direct the Boston Pops the way he looks down there. Moreno, stop and go, gets into Bucs territory, picking up 5.
And here's Peyton Manning after that last third down. He looks to the sidelines and he tells the fans, please, come on, I'm trying to do some work out here. He's staring at him. Look at him.
You think he's in charge?
I think so.
Second down, and boy, this crowd is quiet. Second down and 5.
They listen.
Quick pass to Tammy. And Tammy will be about 1.5 yards shy of the first down. Bowers on the play. Lance Ball checks in. Fans doing nothing, folding their arms.
You would too if he told you to be quiet.
I would in a minute. In fact, I think I'm too loud up here. Fans behaving nicely. 3rd down and 1. Empty backfield. Manning's pass. Got it. First down to Tammy again. Boy, does he like Jacob Tammy today. That is his 8th catch. He and Thomas each with, make it 9 for Tammy. And Thomas with 8, 17 of Manning's 27 to those 2.
And you talk about the brilliance of Peyton Manning. I think it starts in the pocket. Watch his feet. This used to be a negative in college. I remember people said he's got happy feet. He doesn't have happy feet. He's got great feet. That allows him to extend plays, to work the pocket, allow his receivers time to get open. That's great quarterbacking, precision throwing. That's what makes him so special.
9th play of the drive. First down at the 30. And the pitch to Hillman. Hillman trying to go outside, gets some room, and gets close to the first down within 2 yards of it. And a good block that time by the right tackle, Orlando Franklin.
You know, Dick, we've joked about Peyton Manning chastising the crowd for being too loud. he told us at times it proves invaluable that when he's in that pocket, sometimes he'll listen to the crowd, because I'll say, it looks like you have eyes in your back of your head. He said, sometimes I hear the gasp of a crowd, and that's what tells me to move in the pocket.
Talk about a seventh sense. Second and 2, Moreno checking back in, first down. And all this does with a 28-13 lead, using the clock, running the ball effectively. And right now, the Broncos have 82 yards rushing to 71 for the Buccaneers. And the Buck player slow getting up, still sitting is Mason Foster. We're going to take a break. Just under 9 minutes to go in the fourth. The Broncos' big third quarter.
During the timeout, we see Greg Schiano. He knows how important this is. You've got a 2-score game. He's telling guys, this is the opportunity right here. Let's get it done. Tremendous coach. I really respect this guy for what he's done in his first year.
First down at the 16. Been a long and fruitful drive for the Broncos, using up a lot of time. Here is Moreno, tripped up by Hayward. Game break time, Kurt Menefee.
And if it's second half, it must be Ray Rice time. Handoff taken by Rice. He does a little dance and then dances right to the end zone. 34 yards on the score, giving the Ravens a 20-13 lead late in the third. Dick and John, there may be bigger backs, faster backs, but few that are better.
When was the last time we saw Ray Rice do something? About 4th and 29, right?
Coached by Greg Schiano at Rutgers.
Right. And he thought he had something like a Ray Rice and Doug Martin, who's in his rookie year. Second down and 5. The fake and the throw, and nearly intercepted that time by Ahmad Black. The throw intended for Thomas. 3rd and 6 coming up. They want to get to the line in a hurry.
You see Demaryius Thomas, they fake the screen to Tammy, and they try to sneak it in there to Thomas. Good play by Ahmad Black.
From the 12, 3rd down and 6. Take the handoff. Pass intended for Dreesen. And that'll be 4th down. Field goal team coming on.
And Dick, what that is from Mike McCoy and John Fox is trust in Peyton Manning. A lot of coaches are going to call a run right there. 2-score game. You want to make it a 3-score game. But with Peyton Manning, you know you can take a shot. But at the worst, we got to have an incompletion. We cannot have an interception. That's trust that the coaches have in Peyton Manning.
Matt Prater with a 31-yard field goal try. His first attempt of the game. And Prater's kick is good. And the Broncos now lead it by a score of 31-13 with 7:36 to go in the game. No touchdown, but they get points.
Today's game is sponsored by the all-new Ford Fusion. Go further.
All right. Back deep is Lewis. The Broncos got 3, but they got it in 7 minutes and 19 seconds, so they used the clock brilliantly there. And Prater kicks it out of the end zone, or actually hit the upright. And the Buccaneers will start at the 20. Well, Peyton wants the crowd to calm down and dance. Calm down, and they were dancing after he got the points. 31-13. 7:36 to go in the game. 1st and 10 for Tampa Bay on the 20. Freeman, 3 of 16 for 26 yards since his great start of 8 of 10. Broncos defense, major part of that. Freeman, and trying to flip it to Underwood. 2nd and 10. That time Von Miller, who has an interception return for a touchdown, very nearly got to Josh Freeman.
And you watch Von Miller, he's got so much to his repertoire. Here's going to be the spin move. He sets Dotson up, spins off him. And a great job by Josh Freeman not to be sacked. This guy, as we've been mentioning, he's a one-man wrecking crew on defense.
Neither quarterback has been sacked today. 2nd and 10 is the pressure, and it's dumped off to Doug Martin, and Martin, with a head of steam, gets the first down out to the 35-yard line for 15 yards. This time Miller downfield making the tackle. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they go down here. 5 of their 6 losses will be to top quarterbacks in the league. They have faced some elite QBs this year, and they have had the measure of the Buccaneers, and the latest would be Peyton Manning, and this pass caught, nearly intercepted. Clark with Harris defending on the play, get only 1 yard. Eli Manning, Robert Griffin III, Drew Brees, last week Matt Ryan, and this week Peyton Manning. That would be 5 of their 6 losses if they go on to lose.
And I don't know quite what elite means anymore, but I know all those guys are really good and they're tough to beat.
2nd and 9, and in and out of the hands of Champ Bailey.
See Champ always around the ball in tight coverage, and that's something you don't see often. I mentioned earlier 51 interceptions on his career, 14 years. You ask Vincent Jackson, how's he playing? He's still one of the best in the league. And this guy, I'll take it a step further, one of the best cornerbacks ever to play the game.
You would know.
There's that matchup right there, Jackson on Bailey.
3rd and 9. Freeman's pass thrown away. A lot of credit should be given to the Broncos secondary today.
Absolutely. And I'm a big believer, even having played in the secondary, that it all starts up front, though. And when you get heat, Champ Bailey would be the first to tell you. You see Mike Adams, when those guys are doing their job up front, it's a heck of a lot easier to hold up on the back end.
So it's 4th and 9, and of course down 31-13. Freeman and the offense stay on the field with 6:19 to go on the clock. DJ Ware is the back to the left of Freeman. Freeman stepping up, and his pass incomplete. And the Buccaneers will turn the ball over on downs. Tony Carter defending against Tyquan Underwood. Freeman is upset and leaves the field. It's been a frustrating day after a good start in the first half when the Bucs were leading 10-7 until the explosion by the Broncos, outscoring the Bucs 21-0 in the 3rd.
And you like to see that competitiveness from Josh Freeman. This guy's a guy who's taken a big step this year. And we had a great conversation with him yesterday. Dick, you asked him a really insightful question about the maturity level, and he said he made a decision this year in talking to his dad that he wants to get back to being the type of person. He started going to church again. He's all about being the best he could possibly be on the field and off, and I commend him for it.
Here is Moreno with the run. And you could see the difference in Josh Freeman, and you could look at last year's slump, this year having a good year. Tough game today, especially in the second half as you see the numbers. But his whole maturity and character are so different, and you wondered, you know, what started it all, and he explained it to us. And you know, his dad deserves so much credit for really help changing it.
And I love the way he said it. He said, I was trying to be the guy rather than being the guy, and that makes so much sense. And he just has matured leaps and bounds, and he keeps doing that. He's going to be playing great football just like this guy at quarterback, Peyton Manning.
2nd and 10, they hand off to Moreno again, and Moreno getting inside the 30. In fact, I said, you know, this guy looks like so businesslike. He came in with a briefcase. I thought he was going to the office.
Loved it. I loved it.
Winding down to 5 minutes remaining. And you know, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers headed for the loss, and it'll be their 6th loss of the year, but they're still very much in the thick of the wild card race. 3rd down and 4. On the 29.
25. Hurry.
Short pass, tipped, incomplete. And it was deflected by Bowers. Take a look at the NFC playoff story. A couple of surprises today. Atlanta 11-1. 49ers losing to the Rams in overtime after their tie earlier in the year. The Bears losing in overtime to Seattle. And the Giants will be playing Washington. Seattle with a big win today, but look at the other teams. Look at that scramble of 6-6, 6-5, and how about St. Louis at 5-6-1?
Unbelievable, and that's why if you're the Bucs, strange things can happen. You mentioned Chicago losing to Seattle. You just got to keep playing because you never know.
And Prater misses a 47-yard field goal wide right with 4:37 remaining. Let's take a look at Tampa Bay's remaining schedule. And next week, they're home with Philadelphia, and it'll be the 10-year reunion of the Super Bowl champions. And my partner will be there, along with all of them. He has the ring to show it, and he'll be down on the field for it. At New Orleans, home with St. Louis, and closing against Atlanta on the road. And while we're talking about my partner, we all want to congratulate him for moving into the semifinals. Now one of 27 still eligible for the Hall of Fame. And I'll tell you one thing, partner, I've watched football for a lot of years, a lot of decades. You would have fit in every decade since I started watching a long time ago.
Thank you. It's very kind of you. I'm very humbled to be mentioned with the other guys on that list.
Freeman's pass, and it's caught by Vincent Jackson. And Jackson gets inside the 40-yard line of the Broncos, 24-yard pickup. Well, you had to get a call telling you that you moved on, right? What was that like?
Well, we were actually in a production meeting with Peyton Manning, and Jim Sacamano, the PR director at the Broncos when I was there, came in the room and told me that I had made the cut, so it was all good.
Here is Freeman, ball knocked away from behind by Von Miller. And Freeman recovering the fumble, and that is the first sack of the game by either team.
Von Miller continues to state his case for Defensive Player of the Year. He told us coming into this game with Freeman being that big a quarterback, what do you do? Well, you go after the ball, he said. He said the quarterback, typically the worst ball handler on the field. I'm going after his arm. He does it.
Meanwhile, what's not good news, Von Miller was shaken up, and we'll be taking a close look at this great player. We'll be back. Well, Von Miller apparently is all right. Getting a little hydration there. He has 6 tackles, 1 interception, returned for a touchdown.
And you look at those stats, and they're phenomenal. A touchdown, a sack, but they don't even do it justice because you see what he does to an opposing offense. As I mentioned earlier, he's a unique player, and he wrecks things for an opposing offense.
2nd down and 17 from the 46. Freeman going deep downfield, and it is incomplete. Jackson was there, covered by Raheem Moore, and Moore got a hand on him.
Raheem Moore is a vastly improved player for the Denver Broncos in the back end. This is risky business here as that ball nearly goes right into Vincent Jackson's hands, but Raheem Moore really solidified that secondary with his play. They had high hopes for him last year. His rookie year was a disappointing year, but he's come on strong.
Von Miller back on the field for Denver. It'll be 3rd down and 17 from the 46. Freeman's pass, and it's caught by Dallas Clark to the 36, short of the first down by about 8 yards. And it'll be 4th down, and the Buccaneers trailing 31-13 with under 3.5 to go. Going to bring in Connor Barth for a field goal try. It'll be a 55-yarder for Barth. His longest kick this year was 53, and he's done it 3 times. Barth's kick is good. A 55-yarder for Connor Barth. And it is now 31-16 in favor of Denver.
Connor Barth, I mean, you can't hit this any better. This altitude, these kickers love it. Greg Schiano, he'll fight right to the end, as we've seen this year.
Well, John, this year in more than 70,000 schools at 1,700 events and through the creation of youth fitness zones across the country, NFL Play 60 has improved the health of millions of American children through the power of play. Visit NFLRush.com to learn how NFL Play 60 could come to your community. And the Broncos also hosted their NFL Punt, Pass, and Kick Team Championships earlier, where 40 local youth competed for the chance to represent the Broncos at the NFL Punt, Pass, and Kick Nationals competition, which come up in January. Well, the onside kick expected by the Broncos. With 3:23 to go.
This was always a badge of honor. I fought for this every year, to be on this team right there, the hands team, the good hands people, they used to call it. You see Eric Decker, you see a lot of guys on the front line that are blockers. These are the guys, they want the ball in his hand. Decker, Tammy, Dreesen, Demarius Thomas out there.
And there comes the play with Kanan. And this time he kicks it away and out of the end zone. So all of that. Saturday, the UFC returns to Fox as lightweight champion Benson Henderson puts his title on the line against top contender Nate Diaz, highlighting a full night of epic fights. Coverage of UFC on Fox 5 begins Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, only on Fox. Well, the Broncos lead 31-16, and in their 6-game winning streak, they have averaged 31 points. So they have kept up the offensive attack. And Peyton Manning, 27 of 38 today for 242 yards, 3 touchdown passes through 1 interception. Handoff to Moreno. And a loss of 3 yards on the play. Corey Irvin in the game, former Jaguar, making the tackle. And a timeout called by the Bucs there first.
Dick, when you talk about now after today, which will be a 7-game win streak, you got to look to the personnel you have on a team. And John Elway took this place over as the executive vice president around 2 years ago, and it was bleak. There weren't a lot of great football players on this team. He went about it. We talked about Von Miller. We talked about Peyton Manning. He went and those were his signature moves. But then there's a cast of characters around him that are role players, that are really good football players. John Elway was an unbelievable Hall of Fame quarterback. The job he's done with this team is unbelievable to me, how one guy could be so successful as a player and then take it to the front office as well.
Second down and 13. A lot of time ex-players don't do as well when they get to that spot. Tight formation. Moreno. He'll be tackled for a loss of 2 by Levante David. And the Bucs call their second timeout.
30-second timeout.
Well, it's been Peyton Manning trying to wrap up a division title, and he set some more standards today, didn't he?
And he didn't hurt his quest for another MVP. That's not what he's concerned about. He's already got 4 of them. He's trying to win a championship. He'd love to bring one to Denver. I can tell you this, everybody in Denver, John Fox, John Elway, every teammate, everybody in this entire city, they feel like they got a legitimate shot, and I agree with them.
And you know, John Fox has always been a guy who said, you know, I don't need a franchise quarterback to win. He was in Carolina last week. It was that kind of a game against Kansas City. But don't tell him that it isn't better to have a Peyton Manning as your quarterback.
I did ask him that this weekend. As I said earlier, he said it makes me a lot smarter.
Here's Moreno off the left side, and he picks up a yard. So the Broncos will go to 9-3 on the year.
30 seconds.
And will have a home field advantage at least for 1 game in the playoffs. They will be in Oakland next week. Then they've got the Ravens, a team they could meet in postseason, and then finish up with the Browns in Kansas City. So you could see where the Denver Broncos could be right near the top before it's all over in the AFC Derby.
Yeah, and a lot of people are going to be looking at that Baltimore game because early in the year they lost to Houston, they lost to Atlanta. So some people are cynical and say they lost to New England, and they say they're not that good. Look at who they're beating, AFC West teams. But I would say to you that this is a much better football team than early in the year. They had a new defensive coordinator. They had a new quarterback. It's all coming together, and it's all about playing your best football at the right time. I think this team could do just that, peak at the right time.
And you pointed out it's not just Peyton Manning in offense. We saw a defense today holding Tampa Bay right now to 16 points. This is a Buck team that had averaged 33 in the last 7 games. Roscoe Parrish from the 39 returning the punt. And Parrish spinning his way into Bronco territory to the 48.
The only team are the Broncos coming into this game today, top 5 in both offense and defense. They're pretty darn good, as we've seen on special teams today. It's a good football team.
Injured player is Laquan Lewis, former Dallas Cowboy, who had been the kick returner. Well, this is a team that has fought so many injuries this year, and you talked about the 2 starting guards and the cornerbacks. While we have a moment here, let's go out and check in with Kurt Menefee. Kurt.
All right, the Steelers have evened things again with the Ravens in the 4th quarter. Charlie Batch hooks up with the tight end Heath Miller, who just gets it in. That's the first passing touchdown for the Steelers since Ben Roethlisberger got hurt 3 games ago. 2020, midway through the 4th quarter. John, it did.
You know, somehow, John, the Steelers never go easy, do they?
No, they don't. And you know, you think without Ben Roethlisberger playing the Ravens that it favors the Ravens heavily, but the Steelers always have and always will compete right to the end.
Well, the Jets won today. They beat the Arizona Cardinals. Buffalo with a win over Jacksonville, and Miami losing to New England. And somehow, some way, playoff pictures never really settled to the last day of the season. And unfortunately, Lewis is still down.
I'll tell you, the one story in the AFC that I think is just phenomenal is the Indianapolis Colts. Peyton Manning leaves. Chuck Pagano, the head coach, diagnosed with a form of cancer. Just a magical season down there. And I watched Andrew Luck play a lot at my alma mater, Stanford University. I said it from the beginning, this kid's going to be a special player. He's got some big shoes to fill in Indy, but he's doing it quite well.
Threw 2 touchdown passes in the last 2 minutes and 40 seconds. And including a TD on the final play of the game. And Indy came back and beat the Detroit Lions in Detroit. So Lewis injured on the sideline. And a first down at the 47 of Denver. Josh Freeman going deep. And the pass incomplete. Williams is defended by Tony Carter. Well, coming into this game in the last 7, Josh Freeman, you mentioned this right at the outset. He said, you know, this is not just a 1 quarterback game. Didn't turn out to be that way in the second half. 16 touchdowns, only 3 picks in the last 7. And it's been a rougher outing for him today.
He ran into a really good defense. And the other thing, the game got out of hand. And so the picks start coming. Just having 1 today. He's protected the football incredibly well this season and done it. Remember, their offensive line's very banged up, so I think he's had a phenomenal year.
Second down and 10. And Freeman's pass is caught by Williams, goes out of bounds. And a first down inside the 35, picking up 15 yards. There is Laquan Lewis, former Cowboy, who's now on the cart. 10 Buccaneers on injured reserve coming into this game. First down at the 33 for Tampa Bay. And Freeman, and the pass caught by Williams, and Williams out of bounds And right now the Buccaneers threatening. They're on the 5-yard line. That was a 28-yard pass to Williams.
And this is what you like from Josh Freeman. He's going to compete right to the end like the great ones do. And look at that football. That looked like a Peyton Manning throw right there with a little more juice due to Josh Freeman's youth on it. It's a big-time throw, and that's what he brings to the table in terms of the arm talent and the competitiveness that Josh Freeman displays.
First and goal on the 5. Freeman's pass caught by Williams for the touchdown. Say what you will, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers never stopped playing in this game. And now down 31-22, a 9-point lead with 2:33 to go as Freeman hits Williams for 5 yards.
And there you go. You talk about an extra point, you're talking about a 1-score game. And so that's why you continue to compete. What a throw by Freeman and a great catch by Mike Williams. You got to stop Peyton Manning, but you're talking about a 1-score game right now if they execute this point after.
6th touchdown catch of the year by Williams. Buccaneers with Connor Barth on for the extra point. This is a team that went for the field goals to stay in the game, and they are technically in the game at this point.
Sure, a lot of people question that, but that kept them within striking distance, and here they are. 1-score football game.
And it's 31-23, an 8-point game with 2:33 to go. Well, this Tuesday, Fox Fight Week has 4 knockout rounds of nonstop comedy with an all-new heavyweight episode of Raising Hope, Ben and Kate, New Girl, and the Mindy Project. Take on the funniest night on television starting this Tuesday at 8, 7 Central, part of Fox Fight Week. Well, the onside kick will be coming up here, and Tampa Bay has no timeouts remaining.
You can expect the onside kick for sure right here.
Buccaneers, 5 of their losses by a combined margin of 23 points, trailing by 8 here. So this is critical. They have no timeouts left. But if they can manage to succeed on the onside kick, you never know. They need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to tie the game. There you see Decker.
5.
And here is the onside kick, and it's fielded by Eric Decker with 2:32 to go. No timeouts left, and that may be the last hope for Tampa Bay. Don't tell that, though, to Greg Schiano, huh? We can get the ball back with 40 seconds, I think he said.
And it's been fascinating to watch him work the sidelines today. Seen Peyton Manning, John Fox on one end, and Greg Schiano, he's got his hand in everything. Offense, defense, special teams. But a mentor of his, Bill Belichick, very much the same way.
Chris Clark is an extra offensive lineman for the Broncos. First down. Here's Moreno. And Moreno picks up 4 yards on first down. The Bucs can't stop the clock.
Now we'll go right down to the 2-minute warning. As Peyton Manning runs to the sideline.
This Denver team, they can hold on, would capture their 7th consecutive victory, and it'll be the first time since John Elway's final season back in 1998.
You know, one thing we talked about halftime, I lived it. Nobody adjusts better than Peyton Manning. The second half has been a great example of that.
2-minute warning here in Denver, 31-23 Broncos.
Remember what's happened earlier in the year.
We're back here in Denver, 2nd down and 5 with 2 minutes to go. Greg Schiano on the short end of this game. John Fox headed for his 2nd straight division title, and a penalty Offsides will be the call against the Buccaneers.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense,
Same
number
thing.
95.
Harry Gibson.
5-yard penalty. Second down.
Dick, you mentioned it earlier. This guy never stops. Peyton Manning right down to the end. You need a first down just to really seal this deal. So what do? You go back to the hard count. Now you put yourself in a 2nd and 1. First down, this thing's over.
Here's Moreno, and he'll have the first down to the 40-yard line. And now it's just a matter of the clock ticking out. And I will tell you this, as we take a look first at the NFC wild card story, it is tight. Green Bay comfortable with 1. Chicago at 8-4. In fact, they're tied with Green Bay at 8-4 on the year. And there you see Seattle would have.
And now you got the most intriguing thing of possibly today. We've seen Greg Schiano go after Eli Manning earlier this year. We'll see if he comes after Peyton Manning.
Taking a knee has new meaning.
There he does.
Not taking any chances.
Yeah. And his offensive linemen, I promise you, are not going to take kindly to this.
Yeah.
Greg Schiano said if we have the opportunity, we'll do it again. They've been warned. People have different opinions. It's very much against the grain of the NFL tradition. Greg Schiano's unabashed about it.
And here's the victory formation in week 2. Eli gets rushed by the Tampa defense. Never see that at all. And then after the game, the Giants coach Tom Coughlin and Greg Schiano exchanged words. And here again, not letting them take the knee. And now there's a scrum going on in the middle of the field. Clock is running with under a half a minute to go. And so we have seen this before with another Manning. And now the players have to be separated. And both benches empty. The final seconds will tick off. And Greg Schiano talking to Peyton Manning with a few words. I don't know whether Manning bought what he heard. But it doesn't matter because the Denver Broncos have won the AFC West with their 7th straight victory. And the division title is their record-tying 12th and their first time since '86 and '87 that they have won back-to-back division championships. 31-23, Denver over Tampa Bay, and we'll be back here to Mile High in just a moment.